So in the last presentation and in the last lecture, we had spoken about what validity is, and so validity being that the test measures what it aims to measure. And in this lecture, we will talk about the types of validity. In the last lecture, I had also explained the first that you see on the screen, which is face validity, which talks about the fact that when you look at a test, if the test looks like, the items look like that, they are aiming at finding out, or they're measuring the component that is being mentioned in the objective. Face validity, I had also told you that face validity is generally identified with the help of the judges, the raters. So it is as part of pilot. You must have this is was also again pointed out in the last lecture that आइटम राइटिंग के समय जब आप रेटर्स को देते हैं, जजेस को देते हैं, पीपल हु आर फ्रॉम द फील्ड ऑफ फील्ड दैट द वर्क इज बीइंग डन अंडर, तब वो रेटिंग देते हैं कि आइटम्स कितने सही हैं या गलत हैं. सिमिलरली वो जो रेटर्स होते हैं, दे ऑल्सो कॉमेंट ऑन द फेस वैलिडिटी ऑफ द आइटम्स. So this face validity is very it is said, some people accept it highly, and somewhere statistically it is not very valid. But nonetheless, face validity is by the raters, that if by looking at the test it seems that it is the items that are there are measuring what the objective of the test is. Moving on to the next type of validity, which is content validity. Now, content validity is also designated by others: relevance, circular validity, and representativeness. So, when a test is constructed so that it content of the terms measure what whole test claims to measure, the test is said to have content validity. So, content validity is concerned with the relevance of contents of the items individually as well as whole. So, each individual item or content of the test should correctly and adequately sample or measure the trait or the variable in the question of the test as a whole, and should contain only the representative items of the variables to be measured in the test. So this is what content validity is. Wait. Here it is basically example that is given. Okay, so Anastasi had also given a definition of content validity, which so he said that in content validity involves essentially the systematic examination of test contents to determine whether it covers a representative sample of the behavior domain to be measured or not. Okay, so content validity is needed in the test, which are constructed to measure how well the examinee has mastered the specific skill or a certain course of study. So, as here also they have given an example for the same. So, in psychometrics, or the people who are into test construction, they view that content validity, it requires both item validity as well as sampling validity. So, item validity, what is it? It is basically concerned with whether the test items, they represent the measurement in the intended content area, and sample validity is concerned with the extent to which test sample the total content area. Okay, so two things are part of content validity. One is item validity and sample validity. So, for example, here although there is another example that is given, there are multiple examples that are being given. Uh, yeah. So here it is written convergent validity as well as divergent validity as part of content validity. This actually construct validity. Okay. Uh, So, content validity of a test is examined in two ways: by expert judgment and also by statistical analysis. You need to understand that content validity is examined both by the like I told you in the case of face validity, by expert judgment, and also it is defined statistically. And of course, the statistical formulations that are going to be used in this case will also may also be applied to ensure that all items measure the same thing. That is, a statistical test of internal consistency may provide evidence for the content validity. Okay, let me give you an example for it. Um, so, for example, a test designed to measure knowledge of biology might have good item validity, but because all the items are, indeed deal with good biological facts, but they might have poor sample validity because all the items may deal only with the vertebrae. So I spoke about two things that are part of content validity. One, it looks at item validity and also as the sample validity. So if it is a test of biology, or if we talk about item validity, then we can, we look at a test and we see all the items are talking about something related to biology, and very nicely they are measuring contents of the biology. But sample means that, is the test sample validity would mean that if it is a test in this case of biology, is it giving the full coverage or not? By full coverage means that, is it covering all the basic aspects that are, part of the should be part of the test. In the case of, for example, intelligence, it's not only creativity that is being measured, cultural relevance, knowledge, logical reasoning, every component is covered or not. Okay. Again, because as we told you that content validity is also derived statistically. Next, we move to criteria related validity or criteria validity. Criteria validity, before we move ahead, I should mention that it contains two subcategories. Criteria validity, one has predictive validity and concurrent validity. Okay, so this also needs to keep in mind. So criteria related validity, it's a common and popular type of test validity, and it is one where it is one which is obtained by comparing or correlating the test scores with scores obtained on a criteria available at present or to be available in the future. So the criteria is defined as external and independent measure of essentially the same variable that the test claims to. So you must have seen this in your practicals, that you, because you are in third year, you've seen a lot of manuals of a lot of tests. And criteria validity is one of the most common form of validity that most of the tests are using, especially in the tests that you have done. And you see that, if it is a test, for example, it is IPAT, a depression test, it is correlated with some external criteria. By external criteria means some external test which is already valid, which is already in use, and which is very good. Okay, so criteria validity means basically affirming या correlation आप कर रहे हैं किसी external criteria से. external criteria का मतलब होता है किसी दूसरे टेस्ट से या किसी दूसरे सेगमेंट ऑफ टेस्ट से, ऐसे टेस्ट से जो कि ऑलरेडी स्टैटिस्टिकली established है, and it is very well used in the market. Now, coming to predictive validity. So, predictive validity is designated as empirical validity or statistical validity. In predictive validity, a test is correlated against the criteria to be made available sometime in future. In other words, test scores are obtained and then time gap period of months and years is allowed to lapse, after which the criteria scores are obtained. Subsequently, the test scores and the criteria scores are correlated, and obtained correlation becomes index of validity coefficient. So this is in the case of predictive validity. So predictive validity coefficient, generally Pearson's product moment correlation is used. And here again, I'll repeat, in predictive validity, a test is correlated against the criteria to be made available sometime in future. So the test scores are obtained and then a time gap of some months is allowed to elapse, and after which criteria scores are obtained again. Okay, so this is basically test and retest predictive validity. And in the case of concurrent validity, which is also part of criteria validity, concurrent validity, is very similar to predictive validity, except there is no time gap in obtaining test scores and criteria scores. The test is correlated with a criteria which is available at present time. So scores of newly constructed intelligence tests are correlated with the scores obtained on already standardized tests, like I was mentioning, of intelligence. So the resulting coefficient of correlation will be an indicator of concurrent validity. So if the correlation is too high, it will indicate that the new test is almost like a duplication. So likewise, an intelligence test may be validated against the marks obtained in the previous examination. Or so the criteria in this case will be a test of intelligence which is already, very well established, very well working. So the steps that are involved in deciding and in calculating concurrent validity, the steps are: the test is administered to a defined group of individual. The criteria or previously established valid test is also administered on the same group of individual. And then the two set of scores are there and they are correlated. Correlation is being calculated and resulting coefficient indicates the concurrent validity of the test. And if the coefficient is high, test is good, and the concurrent validity is also high. Next, we come to construct validity. Sorry. So construct validity is basically the third important type of validity, and so it is more complex and difficult process than content validity and criteria related validity. And investigators, they generally decide to compute construct validity only when they are fully satisfied that none other way of calculating validity and reliability criteria is available for them, and nor any universe of content entirely satisfactory is there. Okay, so in other words, content construct validity is computed only when the scope for investigating criteria related validity or content validity is very less. So construct validity has also been given other names such as factorial validity and trait validity. So the definition as given by NS Tasi for content validity is it is a non-observable trait such as, uh, how does Anastasi defines this content construct validity is the extent to which the test may be said to measure a theoretical construct or trait. So what will a construct actually mean when we talk about construct validity? A construct is a non-observable trait such as intelligence, which explains our behavior. So, according to Nunley, another psychometrician, he explained a construct indicates a hypothesis which tells us a variety of behavior will correlate with another in studies of individual differences and or will similarly be affected by experimental treatments. So let's talk about this steps, to clear it a little more. What are the steps that are involved in deriving construct validity? So specifying the possible different measures. So first step is to specify the possible different measures of the construct. Then second is determining the extent of correlation between all or some of those measures of the construct. Third is determining whether or not all or some measures act as if they were measuring this construct. And that's what it is. I mean, basically in construct validity, it is also I should I it is basically an internal validation process. Okay, and it is only done when other criterias or other forms of validity cannot be calculated, and hence, for example, so it is internally between one or two variables. So if there is a test of intelligence that is, measuring verbal fluency, capacity to modify behavior, ability to learn, ability for numerical calculation, all these criteria, if there are there in an intelligence test, separate scores will be taken for all these criteria, and validation or correlation will happen for these criteria. So that's basically it.